This is the part where we banter about something, and then it randomly cuts in, and it starts in the middle of a conversation.
Random dancing.
And then I complain about what we're talking about, and then I say, "Hi, this is the Oi Podcast. This is number 31."
Carrots and peas.
Carrots and peas. Peas and carrots.
I think it's 31. Am I wrong?
Halloween. New Year's Eve.
Oh, wow. You're so good, guys. It's Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th, the night before Halloween.
It's the 7th? This is number 31. This is Oicast number 31. Welcome. My name is Max.
My name is Lucas.
I'm the short one.
Right. The go-to.
I get it.
The classic.
The classic.
All reliable.
Let's just jump into some of the topics that we got in here. Lucas?
Yeah, Donnie's dead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, let's mention the elephant in the room, or the lack of the elephant in the room, I should say.
The big fat guy is gone. It's only the skinny people here now.
It's only the skinny men left.
This is a fit podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say the three fittest people are the only people here.
Usually, we would have a fourth person on a podcast. Sometimes it's usually Donnie, and then one time it wasn't me and it was somebody else. But usually we at least have four, but we just have three this time. But that's okay. Donnie isn't here. He's dead to us, and
it basically means he's dead. Like,
we might perform some type of ritual. He's not canonically dead like I was, but
this is a spin-off.
Yeah, but he is absent from this episode because he was having some issues with the producer, much like how Mark Hoppus broke up Blink-182 for a year, and then Boxcar Racer started because Travis Barker was like, I just want to play drums. And then he was like, all right. And then Tom DeLonge and him made that band, and then it made one album, and then Blink-182 got back together. There's your history lesson of pop punk for the day.
You don't have to go to a history class anymore. Sorry, man.
All right, Lucas, what's an art show rave?
It's not a thing. It's just the one I went to. So I have mentioned before, as of recent, I just transferred, recent as in like a year ago, transferred and added an art major onto my environmental studies major. So I've been doing more of the art stuff, going over to the North Campus area, working on shit, stuff like that, figuring out art stuff in general, like art history and working in the studio stuff. What that also means is at the end of the year for, senior year, what the seniors do is they have an entire show where they display like their works. Like the senior class is basically just working to just make an entire work that you're going to display in the display building. So normally they're set up pretty professionally and pretty an
art show.
Like an art show. Yeah, it's
like a museum.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It's like casual, but like people are still kind of like taking their time, like it's like feels like a networking thing, more in the sense of people walking around and like talking and like holding their like piece of cheese and crackers and their like complimentary, not alcohol, but might as well be alcohol. And it's
virgin
like
cocktails.
Virgin cocktail, yeah.
As opposed to Chad cocktails.
Yeah. But what is it? So
Cocktail just 100% alcohol.
A Chad cocktail is moonshine.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
Last weekend I went to one show where it was nicely set up. The paintings and everything were done, were all in order and everything. This one the other night was a whole fucking thing. So the artist is a guy I know relatively well. Super nice guy. Kind of very anxious a lot. Kind of doesn't. I don't know. He's a mix of like anxious, but like trying to like talk a whole bunch and like start something and being loud anxious.
Yep.
Just kind of talking like that.
We all know at least one person like that.
Yeah. He was going off with this one. He was entirely in his element. So normally there's no music playing. People are walking around. I come in with my two friends who are also art and also environmental studies majors, fun fact. And we come in, they're playing fucking Nightcore.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember what it fucking was, but it's that like It's that thing I've heard before in just like memes and stuff.
It's the one that Chuck and I have in the playlist.
Yeah, you've probably heard it in the playlist. That's like
Yeah.
one of the like essential big night.
Is it the one from like that anime? It's like done
if
by
you-
the Deja Vu guy.
No. If you look up, if you just look up Nightcore on YouTube, it's probably within the first 10 results. Like one of those.
If you still have that video and you send it later, I'll see if I can.
Yeah. It's what else? So we're just wandering around. Normally, the crowd there is professional. There's a setup there's a table outside with a TV on there that's displaying future art shows and past art shows. And then inside is pretty relaxed. Everything's relaxed. They had a Bluetooth speaker that was playing there. Also, they don't normally play music at all. So they were blasting that for the first portion of it. Then it just turned into.
Do you think it got
rap
approved
stuff.
by somebody, or they just kind of showed up with?
I think they. I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
With more that happens.
Okay.
So when they were just bringing that in. Again, normally it's pretty laid back. A lot of like people interviewing. Sometimes they have like the last one I went to like was professional. They had like business cards set up, a little thing outside that displayed like what the thing was about. This one, there was a single box of takeout out on the table. I always remember that because I was thinking about, oh yeah, there's gonna be food here because me and Belle and Carly were starving because it was like 6. We were college students. We went to get food later, but I just remember that. So there's no food. We go in. Everyone's moving around and bustling around and like half dancing to the music. There are still some people that are taking photographs, but it's the people in like our age demographic, not people that are like older. Because sometimes the professors will come out just to let you know, just see what they raised, see what they did. And sometimes professors will come out in general too. Like I've seen like different art.
Yeah, they want to see what people are up to. They want to see what
exactly
their creative ventures have brought them.
There was not a single person there over the age of 30, at least maybe even 25. Everyone was all like raving and doing that shit. I forget. They played some other music too. It wasn't
like Deep Throat by Cupcake.
Well,
yeah.
I fucking wish. Well, the entire time
like
when
My
they were
Neck,
playing,
My Back.
when they were playing other music, it was like Lil Uzi Vert, like Trippie Redd, like it was big loud rap. So we were trying to like talk and like what the three of us do is we'll like look around and we'll go like, oh, I really like how they did that, or I think the texture's really fucking cool, or whatever. We were talking modestly. We're like, what? every 3 seconds was like being at a party was what it was, except people weren't moving that much around.
And you were surrounded by art.
We were surrounded by art, and there were also just guys there that definitely don't show up in the people there were not the same people that were at the last show. Again, like I said, I'm trying to remember what they played. Something else at the end. It wasn't Nightcore, but it was like something else that was like on that level. It might have been like Eurobeat, or it might have been like something else.
Dude, Eurobeat.
I'm gonna just say it was Eurobeat because I'm trying to fucking remember what it could have been.
So, I was on Reddit, just a Eurobeat little diversions here.
Okay.
I was on Reddit on like Instant Karma or one of those things, and there was a car crash that was some like somebody in the Middle East. You know how you always see those videos of them like racing cars and crashing them horribly because they're bad at racing cars, or like they're just
that's not sucking oil out of the ground,
or they're just going like over sand dunes and then just destroying their cars for no good reason. Anyway, It was one of those videos, but it had Eurobeat playing to it.
Good.
And one of the comments was, I never realized that I needed videos of Arabs crashing cars with Eurobeat in the background. And somebody replied like, I got you. And there's a subreddit called Arabs Crashing Cars or something. Right. And it's like, it's on the verge of being like r/watch people die, because there are some bad stuff in there.
Because this guy's all own like $100,000 plus cars. And they're going like 200 miles an hour.
No, there was some of those, but it was also like just people driving cheap cars, but then like running into spectators and stuff. But there was a few compilation videos that had Eurobeat playing, and it was amazing.
Now I remember why I wrote down rave, because they were playing rap music and stuff before, But then they played legitimate rave music was what it was. They were playing stuff where it was like playing like chiptune noises and it was like bouncing and everything. Then the guy was there, and then he went to the back of the room and he fucking turned the lights on and off and on and off and on and off.
I was about to say, Lucas, did you go shut the lights off and then smoke your bong underneath the fire detector?
He was trying to do that to the beat, and it was great. The last great thing was the artist who was there was like no one there to fucking supervise. Like the professors didn't show up again, like I said. So the artist, he takes one of the pieces and he just says like, who wants a piece? First one to raise their hand, and one of his friends like raises his hands or whatever. He just rips it off the wall. Mind you, the works he does are like abstracts that he does on like it's not a tarp, but it's like kind of a blanket kind of material. It's not like a solid piece. So he rips it off like it's a fucking towel and everything. It's perfectly fine and intact. But he just tosses it to him. And then the guy's like, "Oh my god!" And yeah, we just left, and we were all kind of like, "We need a moment to lie down."
Did you get a piece of his art?
No. I don't know. I don't know him well enough. God, I would have. He makes clothes and stuff too with the same designs on it. But yeah, no, it was just overwhelming to say the least, because that was the second senior one I've been to, and
I think we need to go back to what Andy said, and we turn off the lights in the room.
We turn off the lights,
but then we
pull the bongs underneath.
Yeah, you pull the fire alarm.
The fire deterrent. Yeah.
So it's like the boop, boop, boop as it's flashing lights.
Yeah, and the lights are flashing, and you play 1,000 Miles, so everyone's like freaking out, but it's like da-da-da-da-da-da, and you're like fucking jamming in the corner there.
But you play Eurobeat and 1,000 Miles at the same time, so it's just a cacophony of sound.
Yeah.
Fire alarm type beat.
Like the second you play Eurobeat, somebody in a 1926 European car breaks through the wall.
Yeah,
fucking
it's like a Mini Cooper, and he's just honking the horn to the beat.
Dude, Mr. Bean comes in.
Exactly.
I think that was the first time I've ever been in a rave, and it was not in a place that said
it was at an art show.
It was at.
Wait, I think I sent you guys a video of the wall in my office, right, where we have the RGB LED strips 24/7. So my office is like a rave.
Oh, you might have.
Yeah, we have RGB LEDs that change colors on the wall. So when we get in the morning, all the lights are off, and it's just like flashing colors.
Good.
Oh, because those stay on. That's funny.
Yeah, they stay on.
That's great.
Now you gotta like get everyone to do their art shows as raves now. Like that's part of the art.
I hope not.
Is
God,
that
that's
you
too
turn
much
into
for
a
me.
rave.
No.
Max, quick idea. We buy a business, like a venture, like a theater, right?
Uh-huh. And we rig it to fill up with water, and then
Yes. And of course we run the booth, because come on, why else would we buy a theater? That's
yeah,
stupid.
of course, that's the
Dude, I'm gonna make my senior art project underwater theme.
It's gonna be like the Coliseum, where you can flood it and have boat battles in the auditorium, right?
It's gonna be the fucking.
But most importantly, we're gonna put mounts all over the entire thing, so you can do art shows. But then on a random timer, they go on rave mode. We're locking the doors, putting smoke machines on. We're firing like guns in the air, so it's like.
So it's a seizure and panic room. But not a panic room as in you run in panic. It gives you the sense of panic.
Yeah, it gives you the sense of panic. But like at the same time, you're like, this is fucking awesome that I'm about to die. Like this is just how I want to die. And you're just jamming out to the rave.
I'm gonna set it up so it's a fucking like metal cage deathmatch thing from like Mad Max, and it's like 2 people look at art, only 1 leave. Two artists enter.
The first one to look away gets their eyes gouged out with a spoon.
One artist leaves.
In this corner, a history professor that showed up just to see what students are up to. And in this corner, a 300-pound sumo wrestler. Aspiring sumo wrestler.
Aspiring.
He's not any good. He's just big. And he says he's big because he wants to be a sumo wrestler.
He's not even 300 pounds.
He just
He's
says
wearing one of those inflatable suits.
He's just wearing a fat suit. Oh, God.
He's wearing a fat suit that weighs approximately 50 pounds, which brings his body weight up to 50 pounds.
150 pounds.
All right. Question.
Yes.
What should we do? What should we say to see if Donnie actually will watch this podcast since he's not on it?
It's a good question. Like, what would make him message us?
Yeah. Or we say like, yo, Donnie, if you're listening to this, I'll give you 10 grand, except I won't because I don't have 10 grand.
That's a horrible idea because if he does, then you're screwed.
Okay, Donnie, if you're listening to this,
your favorite
next vanilla server we start, I will give you a diamond hoe at spawn when you spawn.
All right, there we go. That's it. We did it.
It's great because it'll be fucking netherite by then.
No, I lied. No, that's right. Netherite. All right.
No. You give it a diamond one.
No. Give him a diamond hoe.
I will give him.
Never
whatever...
waste diamonds on a hoe.
Never waste diamond on a hoe.
That's true.
Give
him a
boat
boat and a hoe.
Give him a boat and a hoe. Yeah. If you're listening to this, you gotta remind Annie to give you a boat and a hoe at spawn.
Your complimentary statement.
And if you're not listening to this, I'll just ban you and you can't play. So prank. Hope you're listening. Gotcha.
So, we mentioned that underwater thing, and I just want to clear the air because I don't know if I said it. A few podcasts ago, we told Chuck that it's underwater themed for the drumline show at our high school. It is in fact not. They changed it. That was an idea that they had. So I was given information before they officially decided. We have updated Chuck. He knows. But the other day, I got a message from Andy's dad that said, it's not underwater themed.
I did too, yeah, because he listens to the podcast. So he knew, yeah.
So we're going to clear that.
That's right.
And then I want to talk about something that I don't know if I talked about it right at the end of the last podcast. I kind of forget. But attendance, I think I mentioned it. I might not have talked about it. But either way, there's a kid named Max in one of my classes, in two of my classes, actually. I think it's the same person, but honestly, I haven't looked at their face enough because I always forget until I'm in the second class. And then I realize, I meant to see if this guy was in my acoustics course. Anyway, his name starts, his last name starts with G. So he's about halfway through the alphabet. Not quite. Like a third. I don't know. Where's G? He's not at the beginning. I'm at the beginning.
A third. I'd say a third.
Actually, I'm at the beginning. And the first person on the list, the last name starts with B, but it's before mine, right? So, and then I'm number 2. And usually when he's doing attendance, he's projecting his screen on the board, and he has the little attendance website up, and he's doing it. You can see who he's calling as he's calling them. You can see the damn list. But somehow, every single time the teacher says my name and I raise my hand and say here, I hear an echo of myself in an accent that's foreign. And he says here, and I see a hand raise, and I say, "Excuse you, sir. Your last name does not start with B. Stop it." And I get very upset. And then in another class, it's the same exact thing. And if the teacher does attendance, she doesn't always do it because sometimes she just does attendance like passively. She doesn't call it. But sometimes in that class, he does the same thing. And then last class, this is why I'm infuriated about it even more, even though I complained about it last week. I said here when she called my name, and he also started to raise his hand, and then he turned backwards and looked at me. Bro, it's your fault. I'm at the beginning. You should know this by now. It's not the first day where you just hear your first name and go, here. You should know by now that there's a Max before you in the damn alphabet. Anyway, I wanted to get that.
Okay, Max, I just realized we're stupid. We're trying to figure out what letter G is, right?
Yep.
You got a music school. How many notes are in an octave?
Oh, it's number 8. So yeah, it's a quarter then.
So it's the 7th.
No, what?
Yeah, G is the 7th out of the alphabet.
Because 8 would be
Doing the math real quick, good old 7/26 means G is 26.923076923% through the alphabet.
Yeah, so that's why I said a quarter.
Math isn't worthless. You can use it on your podcast.
Also, I did not mean to say 8. I was thinking octave. That's why I said 8. But it's not an octave. It's an octave minus 1 because if you start at A, then blah, blah.
Yeah,
anyway.
I know. See, it's weird. Because I just noticed that. I was just counting. I'm like, G's the 7th letter. I'm like, wait, isn't it the 8th letter? And I'm like, that doesn't seem right because 8 notes. And I'm like, oh no, because an octave's A to A.
Yeah, that's where my brain said.
Sorry, C to C because I have taken music theory. Come on.
Well, an octave's A to A too.
Well, it is, but I'm
or
saying
A sharp
like
to A sharp or B
I'm
to
saying
B.
like you start at C.
Not always.
Well, on a piano, what I learned you do. Because we
Oh,
learned
you
it-
mean like for
I-
C1, C2,
yeah,
C3,
that's
C4?
what I mean. Yeah, like C1, T.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are broken. Yeah.
Which I can't stand because, like, come on, it shouldn't be C1, blah blah blah, G1, A1, A2, or A1, B1, C2. It's so annoying.
I don't understand what you just. It goes
So, like-
it goes C1 up to B1,
And then it goes C2 to
C2
B2.
to B2. Yeah.
But I'm saying the fact that, like, in your head as a human, you start at A,
But it's
right?
it's just because it's just talking about white keys
Yeah.
in generality, and that's C to C.
But I'm pretty sure, I don't remember, the farthest left key on a keyboard is A, right? It's A1? No. I forgot what it is.
I mean,
on an
depends
88
on
key.
on an 88 key keyboard. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't play piano enough
Piano, let's see. The lowest
because I know like
key.
my sub fatty, like the lowest note is C, but then like you can transpose the octaves, but it ends at a C. But I know a piano's different.
Lowest note on a standard 88 key tuned to A440 is D0.
D?
That's what it says. I thought it was.
Look at a picture of a piano. Just
Yeah,
look
that's-
up a picture of a piano.
That's what I'm saying. D doesn't seem right.
Look at a picture of a piano.
Is that 88 keys? I'm not counting. It looks like 88 keys.
That one goes to C. That's not 88.
Nope, A. I'm not counting
Yeah.
88, but yeah, because it goes A0, B0, then C1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is like
Yeah. Because there is a
God damn it.
C0.
yeah,
You don't
there's a
reach it
C0, but you can't. It's not on a keyboard.
on a standard piano. I can reach it like with my Moog, but like then I can just press the
I
octave
can reach
button
it
and
after I
just go
eat
up.
Taco Bell.
It's the brown note.
It's the brown note.
Brown note.
Oh, Max,
What?
idea.
Hmm?
So there's this cool room. I think I said it in one episode, but it's like a reverb room where the walls are specifically shaped to reverb as much as possible.
Yeah, you talked
Yep.
about this.
Yeah, you mentioned it.
Yeah.
What's your idea?
So I'm wondering if you stood in there and you played a brown note.
You'd
Okay.
just be shitting all the time.
You wouldn't stop shitting.
You wouldn't stop. It would.
No,
That's-
you'd shit the once, you'd expel, and then you're done. You don't suddenly
No,
gain
no.
the ability to have more shit.
But see, that's the thing. When it like, but I think it'd be so echoey. You'd shit, suck it back up, and then shit again.
I just thought you would shit more than you would have to. It started like being blood.
I'm
Oh,
gonna do you
yeah.
a solid and leave this in so everyone knows that that those words came out of your mouth.
I know.
But I'm gonna respectively move on
I know.
as
what I
fast
said.
as possible.
Excuse me, disrespectfully move
Uh,
on. Wait, what if you did
speaking
it
of
in the
mu-
code chamber?
Well, then you'd be
The brown
shitting
note
more.
Brown note.
depends. Is it facing towards you?
Well, if it's facing away from you, nothing's gonna happen.
Right. The brown note isn't real.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Shut up.
Mythbusters tried it. they
Max,
couldn't
stop
find it.
telling lies to our two
Mythbusters is
viewers.
real.
God.
You start telling lies. Do you guys want to talk about flat Earth theory? I'm a flat earther. Do you guys want to start a flat Earth podcast? That's not a joke.
Dude, we
Can
should start a flat Earth podcast.
Can we make a satirical flat Earth podcast?
Yeah, and then do that thing where like, so Max, today I discovered the Earth was flat because I jumped off my balcony and I broke my legs. I didn't like fall off these because like if it was round, right,
If-
I'd fall and like roll off the side, right? I'd be
If
fine.
it was round, I would have.
Yeah, it'd be like landing on a hill.
It'd be landing on a ball, you know. You just
It
kind of
would've-
roll off.
It would
But I
have stabbed
fell
my spine like a
and I
medicine
broke my
ball.
legs. So the world's obviously flat.
We should do
Well-
like. They should make like an Eric Andre show, but every single guest is a flat earther. And they try talking about theories, and they say "spin the wheel," and it starts spinning. It just doesn't stop.
I've been watching way too many flat Earth videos, and I watched the documentary again because the documentary is just so golden on Netflix. If anybody hasn't seen it, watch
I
it.
love
It's so good.
My favorite
Especially
part is the gyro part.
Yeah, they
Oh,
get
the
an
gyro
expensive
part.
ass gyro, and they're like, if only we could get our hands on this $20,000 piece of equipment, we'd be able to prove that the Earth is flat. Because apparently the Earth is turning, and it should pick up a 15 degree per hour drift if it's in fact turning and we're on a sphere. So somebody gifted us this gyro, and we set it up, and we picked up a 15 per hour drift. That can't be right.
Well, yeah. Well, and the guy's like,
Idiot.
he's like, yeah, 'cause he's like talking to like the other like another like super high up guy in the flat Earth like conference thing. He's like, all right, so we got to keep this on the DL, but our experiment with the gyro found out that the Earth it says it's rotating, so just we can't. We got to keep this on the DL. We got to figure out what's wrong.
Their like explanation for that was like, oh, well, it's picking up the movement of the sky. And it's like, fucking how, dude? So they're like, oh, we have to put it in like an isolation chamber that's a vacuum and blah, 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 blah. And they have to go like these extra steps. But it's like, bro, you just did the perfect experiment for rotation and you're just flat out denying it. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Okay, you know what the other
Same thing with the thing at the end.
the laser
thing at the end.
The ending was my favorite.
Because so they tried an experiment with a laser, but guess what? Light diffuses over time or over distances, so the laser was not in fact a laser.
But I forgot what else they. Oh yeah,
when it
no,
got
they
to
did
the
the
end.
thing with the bars.
So what
where,
they
like,
did
it would
instead
cut,
of the
right?
laser, so what they were doing with the laser was they set up 3 posts, and they set up a laser on one of the posts, and it would shine into the middle post, and it would hit it at a certain height, and then it hit the next post, and it would sit it at the same height. If the Earth was flat, if it was round, it would hit it higher because of it falling off. But over such large distances, the laser spreads out and it becomes a huge circle that was lighting up pretty much the entire thing. Also, just being around lasers, you don't want those in your eye, but everyone was just staring into the distance looking for the man shining a laser at them, and none of them were wearing laser goggles. Very dangerous. Anyway, at the end, since the laser didn't work, what they did instead was cut holes in like pieces of like, I think it was like insulation, and they had somebody hold a light at 17 feet and above sea level, and then it would shine through one thing, and then if they could see it, then that means it's flat. But if he has to raise it above his head, then it means that it's curved. It's the very last part of it before it cuts to credits too, and it's just he's like, "Hey Jerry, are you holding that light?" Oh, I said it. I didn't say it hard.
No, you're good. You're good.
So he's like, Jerry, where are you holding it? He's like 17 feet. Can you try lifting it above your head? And then they fucking see it. It's like, wow.
Yeah, they
give up.
Yeah, they saw it, and the guy went, "Uh-oh," and then it just ended. It was so
And then
good.
it ends.
It was so funny, and then like
really
you know that everybody watching it was like, "Oh, gotcha, idiot."
They continually do experiments that prove curvature, and then they're like, "Oh, we must have done it wrong." But it's also so funny how janky their experiments are all the time. Like when they tried to do the laser thing, they had a bunch of people show up for the laser thing, and then they ended up leaving because they were like, "This is fucking ridiculous," because it like got too late. It was like 2 a.m, and they were like, "I'm going home."
The last one where they did the holes, that was pretty smart. Like that worked, and it.
But also, I just mean it's janky because they just literally took a knife out of their back pocket and cut a hole in insulation.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was like
fascinating. Because
but yeah, Grant and I were watching it. I remember we made my dad lose his shit because we're like talking about it, and we started showing him flat Earth memes. Where like, it's like where'd the dinosaurs go, and the Earth is flat, and there's a dinosaur standing on one side, and the meteor hits the other, so the Earth starts fucking spinning. The dinosaur catapults off.
It's fascinating because they're just they're legitimate scientists that don't have any fucking scientific merit or anything, who don't actually follow what scientists do. They're just determined to find one single piece of evidence that's skewed, that doesn't work. And it's like,
Yet they find
doing
so
the
many
legitimate
pieces
tests.
of evidence
Yeah.
that do work.
They're doing legitimate
crazy.
tests, finding the results, and then just saying no. And not
Well, see, what was
doing
the Oh, see,
It's amazing.
my favorite thing is like halfway through, and they're talking about it. This guy's like, "Yeah, I was talking to my therapist, and I was talking about how I think like 9/11 was fake." He's like, "That's something totally different." But like the Earth is flat, and he just casually drops and he thinks 9/11 is fake.
And then right after that, the woman that's in it, she's like, I don't believe anything unless I see it with my own eyes. Like the Boston bombing, unless I got my own leg ripped off, I don't believe it happened. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? And then she goes, I don't believe anything that I don't see with my own eyes. I don't believe there was any planes going through buildings. Oh, by the way, I don't think there were any planes going through buildings. And then like it was so nonchalant. She was just like, oh, and also 9/11 isn't real. Like, what? Wow.
No, I think one of the best parts is when they go to the space museum and they're like walking around trying to do stuff. and they look at like the it's like a what is it, like a demo where you can sit down in like a fake cockpit and look at the windows. And the guy's like, this is stupid. It doesn't even work. And then he gets up, walks away. The camera just pans, zooms in on the button that says start. Super like
he just keeps smacking the screen. He smacks the screen next to him. It doesn't start. He's like, doesn't even work. This is what NASA's reduced to.
It's so fucking funny.
Oh, I love it so much. There's a video. Jimmy Kimmel sends this guy who plays like a character. He sends him to like Trump rallies, and he send him to the Flat Earth conference.
Oh, I've seen that.
And he like got up and he asked a question to Mark Sargent, and Mark Sargent was not happy. And then Mark Sargent was giving an interview to the people that were there for Jimmy Kimmel, but obviously no one there knew that idiot man. He was like, I don't mean idiot man as in all flat earthers are idiots. I mean his character is legitimately an idiot.
Yeah.
Anyway, that character like comes up and is like interrupting the interview. And Mark Sargent's like, dude, you gotta leave me alone. I'm trying to do this interview. And then some random dude like comes up to that character guy and is like, you gotta stop following that camera crew around. He's like, I'm not. What are you talking about? And then security comes up to him and he's just like, hey, we see that your badge says like, I don't know, Kenny G, to name a name. Why that? Like, do you have any identification that proves that's who you are? But I didn't understand why they were asking him that, because I was like, well, he has the badge. He signed up. Like, I don't understand what the problem is. They're like, we just need to make sure you are who you say you are. It's like, well, he's got the badge. He's at the conference. Like, it doesn't matter who he is.
Guys, he proved us wrong. Kick him out.
I think he ended up handing him like it was like a frequent flyer card or something that said Kenny G on it. It was pretty funny. There is so to change the subject off of flat Earth. That's a whole thing. I could rant about that for hours. To change the subject to something else that I'm also probably gonna rant about, because that's the whole point of this.
Because you're Max, and that's what you do.
You are Max.
So have you guys seen? Yeah, because that's kind of my brand. Have you guys seen that guy with the cardboard sign? It's like @dude with a sign on Instagram.
The homeless people?
No, not homeless people. It's like just some dude that keeps writing stuff.
Dude,
I think so.
Sign Instagram. Are you talking about BJ Cohen?
I think I know what you mean. Yeah, I could tell you're talking about it.
Have you've never seen these? I've seen a billion.
Oh, this
of them.
guy. Yeah, okay, I've seen this guy.
Yeah, he just writes stuff on signs, and he just stands in the street and takes a picture, and then he goes home, and then he posts it on Instagram, and then it goes viral. That's just what he does. There's also Dudette with sign, who's just a woman that does the same thing. Anyway, one of his
I bet she has
signs.
more followers.
She does not.
Okay, cool.
Because I was looking at their accounts the other day. The other day, he posted one that was a sign that said, "Stop wearing T-shirts of bands you don't listen to." Okay, and my favorite music YouTuber, Anthony Fantano, that was obvious sarcasm. He tweeted it out.
You just sound like a douche.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I apologize.
Guys, the best YouTuber, because he's so smart and says the same things like me because I'm so fucking smart, is Anthony Fantano. All right.
No, he's odd.
I don't like Anthony.
Yeah.
I just don't. I just don't.
I mean,
anyway,
I don't either.
if you know, watch his videos if you want to.
Okay, if you watch his videos, you're a heretic.
Anyway,
oh, sorry.
Gosh, that's so aggressive. Anyway, to get back on track, he posted that photo of him holding that sign and said, "Not all heroes wear capes." And today I was scrolling through Twitter and I saw a few people getting upset about this, and I wanted to talk about it and get your opinions on the matter of wearing T-shirts of bands that you don't listen to.
Are we allowed to group in with this? Wearing a Thrasher T-shirt when you don't even skate?
No, I bet they can't even fit a skateboard up their ass. They're not even a real skater.
Here's why that's different in my mind. Thrasher's a brand. It doesn't matter. Like, yes, it's a skate brand originally, but it's just like It's at this point, it's basically like a Supreme T-shirt.
It sounds like Max is wearing Thrasher shirts.
Sounds like you couldn't pull off a fucking ollie on a flat plane, bud. But whatever.
I don't wear. I don't. No. Well, here's the thing. I don't wear any shirts with any words on them. If you see me with a shirt that you can read, that is a rare sight. It barely ever happens. Most of those shirts that I own, I only wear to sleep or like around the house. I never wear them out. And it's funny because one of the reasons why is because I don't like drawing attention to myself in any way ever.
You don't want people looking at your tits.
So one day I went out of my house and I was wearing a shirt that my sister got me that said, world's okayest brother. And I was out of the house for maybe an hour and someone commented on the shirt and I literally said, like, this is why I don't wear shirts like this outside, because I don't want to have a conversation about my shirt. I just want to be wearing clothes. So I wear nothing with anything on them, even brands. But
I make
what's
all
your opinion?
of my clothes. So
What's your opinion on wearing T-shirts of bands you don't listen to?
Well, it depends.
Yeah, it depends.
On
It depends what band, you know? Because if it's like a Fako Dream Theater fan, I'm a fucking polyrhythm 17/12, your ass into the ground.
There's some bands where people just kind of pile them into things because it just plays on the radio or it's just something in general where they like the design of it. And it's
Like
not
the
explicitly
classic
about
like Dark Side of the Moon t-shirt.
Yeah. The biggest offender is Dark Side of the Moon.
Dark Side of the Moon. Arctic
worst-
Monkeys. I see a lot of people wear that shirt.
The worst offender is the Joy Division shirt we all know and love.
That
Oh,
too.
Joy Division.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, shit. What's the other one I see a bunch of people wear? It's
Nirvana?
not AC/DC. Although I see that one a lot too.
Nirvana?
Oh shoot.
But right now we're naming fairly big bands, right? And
people wear the Beatles
that's-
shirts too.
but
What's
like
that, Abbey
everyone
Road?
knows the
Everyone knows
Beatles
the
at least a little bit.
What's the other one?
So
I
don't know why you guys are bad at this.
Oh, yeah.
Give me just your general opinion on this is what I'm asking for.
That's what we're trying to do.
I don't need.
I don't know.
I-
It kind of upsets me because usually I'll like sometimes if I'm like kind of friendly with them, I'll say something and I'll be like, I'll be like, oh, you like Pink Floyd? And they'll be like, what's that? And I'm like, all right, that was useless. Thanks for.
All right, that plays into
Again,
what I'll
to an
say.
extent, it depends just based off the band. I know, but like, there's some people, a lot of people don't listen to music as in depth or care about as much. It's more just there is some nice white noise I'm playing, and I'm just gonna have a shirt that looks nice, kind of thing. It really,
Right.
because you can tell when someone cares about the band when it's a fucking like underground like smaller type band, or at least there's like more going on to it than just having it. If someone had a fucking gorilla shirt on, they had it on because they saw funny cartoon characters. That'd be something. That would be something to me. That kind of thing.
You wouldn't like
I
that,
would
or you
not
would be fine.
Like
Okay,
that. Be upset because I feel like
because they don't know gorillas. They just saw the T-shirt.
Yeah, exactly. They see funny cartoon characters, so it feels like there's a little more merit and like genuinity to it when they like actually know and are actually getting it because of it.
So there's a lot of different opinions online that I saw. I was scrolling through Twitter. I did a quick search, and here's one quote from at Ab I Welch. I know that's not, it's Abby Welch, but it looks like Abby Welch. Anyway, can we normalize not quizzing someone on trivia every time someone wears a band t-shirt? You don't have to know every member's life story. You don't have to know every member's name. If you like one song, one album, or even every single one, wear whatever t-shirt you want. That one makes sense to me. You know, we shouldn't go up and start quizzing people. That's shitty. So my main point with this whole thing is there's shitty people on both sides.
Oh yeah, no, there
As
are
with everything.
there are elitist people who say name fucking Tom York's pants size when you have a Radiohead shirt on, that kind of thing. Like name how much Tom York's droopy dead eye is closed by its radius. Yeah,
It's like totally fine to wear a band t-shirt. I'm not going to go more specific. No, let's say if someone is wearing a band t-shirt and someone goes up to them and starts asking them about the band, that is shitty.
No,
If
that
you're
isn't
saying like,
wrong, yeah.
hey, like, oh, I see you're wearing like a Pink Floyd t-shirt, like the Dark Side of the Moon one that a lot of people have, because it does look fucking cool. The prism it's really cool. But if you go up to someone and you go, hey, what's Roger Waters' favorite color? That's stupid. And there's no need for that. You don't need to assert your dominance against people by quizzing them or asking them questions about what t-shirt they're wearing.
I would never go up to someone like that. I think I'm more just confused as to why anyone would go out of their way to buy a shirt for liking one song, because I feel like it's not like a huge commitment, but it's enough commitment that you're like deciding to buy merchandise because you like one thing. I feel like if you're committed to something like that, then like actually fully committed and it like everything the artist has done or the widespread majority, then you actually spend money on it. It's like buying vinyl for stuff. I like a lot of bands, but I haven't bought vinyl for every single one of them. I've bought specific albums from specific artists that have meant a lot to me, that I've like seen where it's like, oh, I wouldn't be able to get this anywhere. Not just like, oh look, this is the only way I'm gonna listen to music because I'm like, this is just what I do.
Right. You own it. You own it on vinyl, but you still listen to it on Spotify.
Yeah, like that. I think that's the main way I see it. Is it's about like, I'm not gonna give someone shit about it, but I will be confused as to why they would go out of their way to do that if it doesn't mean that much to them. I don't know, or not just means that much to them. They just don't know enough. I don't know.
So here's another tweet from @_Quinara. LMFAO, bro, what? This is what's wrong with society. Who the fuck cares about a damn band on a t-shirt? Y'all are ignorant. I'm gonna wear whatever the fuck I want. See, this is where it grates me, because if you just think it looks cool, I understand why you want to wear it. It's just a graphic t-shirt. You might not even know it's a band, but that's when it gets kind of grating in my mind, because if you don't know them at all, then that's opening yourself up. I'm not like victim blaming here. I'm not saying like, oh, it's your fault that person's quizzing you. They're an asshole for quizzing you. But what I'm saying is, if somebody goes up to you in a friendly way, if you're wearing, I don't know, let's use Wolfpack as an example. Let's say somebody's wearing a Wolfpack sweatshirt, and you go up to, I doubt anyone who doesn't listen to Wolfpack is wearing a Wolfpack sweatshirt, but you go up to someone wearing a Wolfpack sweatshirt and you say, hey man, I really love Wolfpack too. That's so cool. And like you try to strike up a conversation, and that's your starter. If you don't know that band, then that's when it gets scratchy for me.
Again, that's what I mean about like how mainstream and how big, because there are some artists where they're mainstream, but there's definitely a very big disconnect. Someone who listens to AC/DC or fucking like Ariana Grande, or it's just something big that's normalized that people just see all the time, compared to someone listening to like Wolfpack or like any other like underground fucking band, or not even underground but like specific like band, whether it's from like old or in a specific anything, and they just find it. Then that's a whole other can of worms. Then I think again, I'm gonna give them shit in public, but I'm gonna be very confused.
I think especially if it's a smaller band and you just happen to have the t-shirt somehow,
Yeah, indie bands I can't justify. No, yeah,
it's really it's odd to me, because that's a definite potential conversation starter. It's just like how I wore the shirt that said "World's Okayest Brother." Somebody mentioned that shirt to me, but if they said like, if they came up to me and goes, oh really, what's your sister's middle name? Like, that's fucking dumb. But it's like, I'm wearing that shirt. I
When
know
was your sister born?
I know someone's. I probably don't. You're opening yourself up for that conversation of talking about that band in some way. So that's why I think with smaller bands, it doesn't make any sense to me, because that's a potential conversation starter that you immediately have to shut down and go, oh, I stole this t-shirt from like my roommate. Like that's when it's weird. But it needs, like, either way, people can do whatever they want. It's just, it's a discussion that's
Be ready to
interesting
face
to
the
have.
consequences of your actions. Like, the only time I really buy band shirts anymore is when I'm at shows, because then if someone goes, "Oh, hey, nice shirt," I know that band. It's like, yeah, I saw them at so and so, and then that's the whole conversation.
Yeah, and that's there's the conversation starter. That's what I was going to say about Wolfpack, and I wanted to leave it out for a second. But yeah, like if you're wearing a Wolfpack sweatshirt and somebody goes, "Hey man, I love Wolfpack. I saw them in Brooklyn," and then maybe that person's like, "Oh no way, I was at that show too." It's a conversation starter in that way. So if you don't know the band, then it's just opening yourself up for an awkward situation, even if it looks cool.
It's conversation suicide.
But when it's so big and so prolific as Dark Side of the Moon or the Joy Division one, the Joy Division one is like the one with like the lines that kind of look like mountains,
it looks
right?
like mountains, but it's like it's the lines going across a plane. And it looks like mountains.
So like the Joy Division shirt and the Pink Floyd shirt, I think anybody can wear that, because at this point in time, I think people should understand, like, oh, that's just a prolific design that's just out there for everyone to know. But with what Andy was saying with like Dream Theater, if somebody was just wearing a Dream Theater shirt, but they don't know Dream Theater, that's really weird. Even if it looks cool to them. That's just super odd.
The Joy Division one is weird because it's like it falls into kind of a middle ground, because it's not many people, like, the thing is the picture's shown, but that's more just because it was normalized in the same level of Nirvana at fucking, like, Kmart and kind of stores, and Target is the problem. But other shirts, like
the album cover is prolific.
Yeah, Unknown Pleasures, that's the one.
Well, see, that's the thing with, like, bands like Dream Theater. Like, a ton of people know them, Like, tons and tons of people are like, oh, yeah, Dream Theater. But, like, not that many people are, like, into them,
Yeah.
So, like, whenever, like, that's one of my favorite things. Whenever I walk through campus with my Dream Theater shirt on, there's this other guy that's in engineering that also wears one. Sometimes we'll be wearing them on the same day, and we'll walk past each other wearing them. We look at each other, give each other the nod, and be like, "What's up, my guy?" And then just keep walking.
Yeah.
I think it's a really interesting discussion to be had. I think this was just like this was a few minutes before we started recording when I was looking at this stuff, but I kind of want to gather my thoughts more and like be a little bit more articulate about it. I might, if I do that, I might post something on my YouTube channel about it, because I just think it's really interesting. It's the same thing. I've been meaning to do the same exact thing about the about Billie Eilish, because a lot of people were shitting on her after the Grammys, and there's just a bunch of weird stuff, and that ties into the Grammys. People then were talking about the songs that won, and then how they have 6 co-writers, even though like the lyrics are really easy, but yet there's only one writer for Bohemian Rhapsody, that type of thing. There's a reason why that exists. There's a reason why there's co-writers. There's a reason why that happens. And I really want to articulate that in a way that I can get that information out to people in a condensed way. But because every time I see that and it's like, oh, really? Like this really took 5 people to write this? It's like, no, it didn't. That's not what it means. Anyway, we should be wrapping it up. We're 50-ish minutes in on the recording, so that'll condense down a little bit, but not much.
I just want to say, to end it off, still going on, that I think it just kind of comes into question about like how mainstream and other stuff should be. Like, again, with the Joy Division and the Nirvana shirts and everything that show up in like Target and whatever, that makes them like mainstream, and then sometimes people find the music because of that. But then it becomes a whole discussion of like, how good is it? How genuine is it if people know about it all the time, but they aren't into it like some people, I guess like a Star Wars and Lord of the Rings kind of thing, where it's become like a extremely mainstream, but not like an underground thing where the like nerds or whatever know.
But if you never saw
weird.
Star Wars, would you walk out of your house wearing a Star Wars t-shirt?
That's the thing. Yeah, it's a good point.
If you never saw it, or like if you're in it, what you're saying with like Target and like, there's Target, Old Navy, Walmart, they have those, they have maybe like those Pink Floyd t-shirts or the Joy Division t-shirts for sale, but they also have stuff like Minecraft, and I know not many grown adults are wearing Minecraft t-shirts, but in that same vein, it's like,
name 3 grown adults in this podcast.
Oh, that reminds me.
Would you be wearing a Minecraft t-shirt if you never played Minecraft or don't even know what it is. That's a little weird.
So, Max, when I was at IKEA when I moved in like a few weeks ago,
Uh-huh.
walking around, walk past this guy. He's like with his wife. He's probably like early 40s. And he's got a hat on, like a beanie on, turns around. Is a friggin' Rooster Teeth hat.
Hell yeah.
And I almost said something, but I was like, nah, I don't feel like it.
You should have gone up next to him and go, you ever wonder why we're here?
Yeah, that'd be a good one. That'd be a good one.
That would have been a good one. Remember when we were in a server for CSGO and somebody said, you ever wonder why we're here?
I remember that. And we all started quoting it.
Yeah, that was a good one. Anyway, that's episode 31. I think, was it 31? It was 31. That's episode 31 of the Way Podcast. Thanks for listening.
Give me kisses. Good night, sleep tight. I love you. Okay.
Luke, is that your final word? Sleep tight, I love you.
Is it? Oh boy, is it? Is it?
Is it?
Find out next time on the Dragon Ball Z. End the podcast right now.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.